In the sun-scorched desert of southern Peru between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific coast lies the province of Ica, a land already famous for the enigmatic Nazca lines etched into its plains. But beneath the surface of this ancient land, another mystery has been waiting. Thousands of dark andesite stones, smooth and heavy, carved with images that should not exist. Dinosaurs, open-heart surgery, telescopes pointed at the stars, maps of lost continents. These are the Ica stones, and for over half a century, they have divided the world between those who see proof of a forgotten civilization and those who see nothing more than an elaborate fraud. The truth, as we will discover, may be far more complicated than either side wants to admit. The story of the Ica stones, as we know them today, begins in 1966 with a birthday gift. A local farmer presented Dr. Javier Cabrera, a respected physician, professor of medicine, and cultural figure in Ica, with a small, dark stone carved with the image of a fish. The carving was unlike anything Cabrera had seen. Intrigued, he began purchasing more stones from farmers and antiquities dealers across the region. What started as curiosity became an all-consuming obsession. Over the next 4 decades, Cabrera amassed a staggering collection of more than 15,000 engraved stones. Some were small enough to hold in one hand. Others weighed over 100 pounds. He opened the Museo de Piedras Grabadas, the Museum of Engraved Stones, in his home in Ica, filling room after room with his discoveries. Cabrera became convinced that the stones were a lithic library, a vast encyclopedia carved by an advanced civilization that predated known history. He called them glyptoliths, and believed they recorded the knowledge of a people whose existence had been erased from the archaeological record. The carvings on the Ica stones are what make them so provocative. Many stones depict humans alongside dinosaurs, not crude stick figures, but detailed renderings of creatures resembling brontosaurs, stegosaurs, triceratops, and pterodactyls. Some show humans riding these creatures, hunting them, or fleeing from them. But the dinosaur carvings are only the beginning. An entire series of stones appears to document complex medical procedures. One sequence shows what Cabrera interpreted as a heart transplant step by step, including the use of a pregnant woman's blood to prevent organ rejection, a concept that echoes modern immunosuppression therapy. Other stones depict brain surgery, with detailed illustrations of cranial incisions and the removal of cerebral hemispheres. Still others show figures gazing through telescopes, studying celestial bodies, and examining what appear to be maps of the ancient world. If these stones are genuine, they suggest a civilization with knowledge that would not emerge again for thousands of years. The implications are staggering, and that is precisely what makes them so controversial. In 1973, the mystery seemed solved. Basilio Ashuya, a farmer from the village of Occupage near Ica, told Swiss author Erich von Daniken that he had carved the stones himself. 2 years later, Ashuya and another farmer named Irma Gutierrez de Aparcana confirmed the confession, claiming they had forged the stones by copying images from comic books, school textbooks, and magazines. Ashuya described his technique in detail. He carved the stones using knives, chisels, and a dentist's drill. To create the dark patina that gave them an appearance of great age, he baked the stones in donkey and cow dung and polished them with boot polish. For the mainstream scientific community, the case was closed. The Ica stones were forgeries, clever ones perhaps, but forgeries all the same. Museums declined to study them. Peer-reviewed journals ignored them. The stones became a cautionary tale about the dangers of pseudo-archaeology. But the story did not end with Ashuya's confession. In later interviews, the farmer reversed himself entirely. He told a German journalist that he had only claimed to forge the stones to avoid imprisonment. Under Peruvian law, selling genuine pre-Columbian artifacts is a serious crime, but selling handmade replicas is perfectly legal. Ushuaia said he chose confession over a prison cell. This recantation raises an uncomfortable question that skeptics have struggled to answer. Even if Ushuaia carved some stones for the tourist trade, could a single farmer with no formal education working with hand tools in a rural village have produced more than 15,000 intricately carved stones? The sheer volume is staggering. Some researchers have calculated that carving the entire collection would require decades of continuous work. And the anatomical detail in the dinosaur depictions, the correct placement of dermal frills, the accurate body proportions, seems to require knowledge that a Peruvian farmer in the 1960s would be unlikely to possess. The debate over the Ica stones gains another dimension when we look further back in history. The stones did not appear out of nowhere in the 1960s. Spanish colonial records from the 16th century describe carved stones found in Peru. Juan de Santa Cruz Pachacuti, writing around 1570 in his chronicle Relación de Antigüedades desde Reino del Perú, described piedras manco stones of power that were part of the funerary equipment of Inca nobles. Another Spanish account, Pedro Simon's Noticias Historiales from 1626, preserved in the National Library of Paris, also references engraved stones from the region. More recently, archaeological excavations at a Nazcan tomb complex near Palpa reportedly uncovered an engraved stone depicting dinosaurs and other animals, from a context dated between 400 and 700 AD. The question of patina analysis adds further complexity. Supporters argue that authentic specimens show a uniform patina layer that penetrates into the carvings, indicating the engravings were made centuries before the patina formed. Skeptics counter that many stones show no patina in the grooves at all, suggesting recent creation. Without large-scale, independent laboratory testing, the physical evidence remains inconclusive. Dr. Javier Cabrera died in 2001, never wavering in his belief that the Ica stones were authentic records of a lost civilization. His museum still stands in Ica, filled with thousands of carved stones that continue to provoke wonder and skepticism in equal measure. The mainstream scientific consensus is clear. The stones are modern forgeries, and yet the mystery refuses to die. If they are all fakes, we must accept that one or a handful of uneducated farmers carved over 15,000 stones with remarkable consistency, anatomical precision, and artistic skill, all while somehow embedding knowledge of creatures that went extinct 65 million years ago. If even some of them are genuine, we must reconsider fundamental assumptions about ancient civilizations and what they knew about the natural world. The Ica stones sit in the uncomfortable space between fact and folklore, science and speculation. They are either one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever made, or one of the most audacious hoaxes in history, perhaps both. The stones are not going to answer our questions. They never have. They simply sit in their dark museum, waiting as they may have waited for centuries for someone wise enough to read them. Next up in our Ancient Mysteries of Peru series, Machu Picchu's hidden purpose. What secrets does the lost city still hold? Subscribe to Universal Paradox Studios and join us as we continue to explore the unexplained.